All right. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to the Precision Markets office hours. We reserve this time every week so that we can be able to discuss any kind of questions that you have about the market, things that you may need to see visually, things that you may want to discuss in more detail, charts that you want to show, but just basically a dedicated time so that we can answer any of the questions that you may have, um, any of the questions that you may have regarding the market. So you got your precision markets coaches, Brian and Nathan on today. We'll answer questions in the order that received. If it's your first time joining, just make sure to ask any questions inside the chat window, and we'll answer the questions in the order they receive. So with that, don't be shy and ask away, guys. Tell you one thing, we've had way too many holidays recently.
Yeah. There's been a quite bit. There was two bank holidays last week in the UK. Today was a bank holiday. Sorry, yesterday was a bank holiday in Ireland, and I think a few European countries as well.
Oh, today as well too?
No, sorry, yesterday. Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and I think it carried over to probably the UK because I thought the same thing too. I was like, oh wait, they're not in. It wasn't in London, but you definitely could see the difference yesterday and today.
yeah, for sure. And then there was like some Memorial Day and stuff in the US, wasn't it last week?
Right. No, definitely, KDS, you're correct. The market has been really slow. You notice the weird impulses. I noticed something also like just with volume overall. Let me see if I can pull up my chart. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Cool. Where's my trade view? So where is my this is my clean chart. Okay. So this was I was looking at GU and let's see. Look where was it? Well, this was was this yesterday? What was yesterday? Yeah. So the day before. Oh, second. Now I can't even see where we're at. Oh, a second. Let's see. I think it was Audi USD I was looking at. Can't remember which one it was. It was like multiple pairs that I noticed. But here we had the RBA, Royal Bank of Australia's interest rate decision. Of course, that caused a shock in the market. But even the day before, if you look at it, usually let me switch it back to UTC time. Well, this is the time I know. Make a marker real quick. This is London right here, London start. Open, turn this one back. And so then this is the second. Here we go. Here's the Frankfurt Open. Then you have the okay.
I think you set the bank thing. That's like all the news. You set that in settings. I think you right click on the chart, go down to settings, and there should be an option to set the news on your chart. So you get them little flags down there at the different times.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Open. And so then this is the end of the kill zone, London kill zone. You right click right here and click on settings and then go to events. I don't do the event breaks. I just put the economic events on the chart so that I can just see them at the bottom. You can also set it to only do future events. You can even have it make it do like a line. So if you wanted to, I'll make them green. That way you can see like these little dotted lines there. I turn those off. So if you look at volume, usually during London, this is Australia, the London Open, you could tell that it was kind of dead. And then it barely jumped up to be a little bit more by the end of the kill zone. But then the market started really moving right around here, which is 8:30 my time. This time right here is when the stock market opens. And it seemed like the last couple of days, even last week, every time we got to the stock market open, that's when the market really started having a jump in volume. And it wasn't just AU that I noticed that. It was the same thing here. So I'm gonna draw the same little lines. There's something I came to notice. So here's Frankfurt open right here on the left. Here's London open, strong volume. Then you get New York open, but look at how the volume kind of slowly dipped. And then right at the stock market open, notice how the volume really jumped, but notice how the market stopped kind of ranging and it then began to make some type of move. So I just thought that was something interesting that I noticed.
Yeah, and it's been kind of dead past week anyway, but I think coming up we don't really have many holidays, right? There's nothing really in our way for the next few weeks. So hopefully we see something.
I'm hoping so too. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite confused now because we got so many different I wasn't expecting some of the holidays that we got before.
Yeah, for sure. Were you watching EU today?
Did y'all guys watch EU? Peachy had a good trade on EU today, I think.
Yeah, you had a short, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You want to share that with us?
Yeah.
Of course I can. 1 sec. I can share my screen, okay? Let's see. Yeah, so I basically looked at the overall market picture and I was actually watching London. It's let me do UTC +1. So it was around 9 on London time. And I was waiting for my 4-hour candle to close actually on this place. And it was this one. And I saw it go above this one. So I thought there are 2 scenarios. Either it goes fast or it will reject before the closure and we will see push down to this demand. So I was like more interested on selling actually because this demand wasn't tapped and I thought it was pretty strong one because it made a chart here. You can see it broke the structure to the upside. So when I saw also it was a wick, what I like to see it was engulfed by this previous one. It was indecisional, but it decided to push up. So basically, I was actually waiting for this to be tapped. So that was my directional bias for this trade. And how I entered this one was actually, it had quite a strong push up. But then I was looking at 10 and 5 minutes, I think. And we had this one engulfing. This last, I mean, it broke down to this one. If you see on 1 minute, you can see how it broke. It came back to this place and we tested it once. So I entered on this zone here. And this one was fully engulfed by this one with a bearish rejection and huge momentum. So I was pretty confident with this trade. Then I moved just stop losses to this place. At first, I wanted to see if this will get out because this one was also engulfed here. It actually wasn't tapped. So I took an order from here with a bit bigger stop loss with 4. Let me see, what was it? I pulled it on 4 hours, so it just stretched too much. It was 4.4 pips. I usually, well, I do it now, but I used to do like 2 pips, like Rob and other SMC traders. But I think it's also very good because you're feeling safer at least, and you know that if it comes back to this area, it has a pretty good, a pretty good rejection possibility. So yeah, basically I opened in this and then it just ran. I held it for a bit. And then when it tapped this, I took half off. I was actually looking for these lows to get ran because it was, I assumed it was kind of a liquidity, but it wasn't, because it's a strong demand zone because it made a new high. So what happened? We had a strong rejection. I made money, of course, on this one, but I could have maybe closed all the position. But I mean, it's not a problem, I guess, because if you make money, you make money. And yeah, that was the idea behind this trade, basically.
Yeah, no, I seen that. I was gone to the gym at that time. I was looking at, if you go back to your 15M there, you had over to the left, you had this zone here, that there area. And I was kind of looking at like, why wasn't it fully mitigated? So I was thinking, you know what, it'd be nice to see price to come back there, maybe take some liquidity and, you know, come back down again. So your idea, I actually had it in mind as well, but it just wasn't at the computer at that time for that. And especially on the 1 minute where you took your entry, I think it was a flip zone you took on the 1M. If you want to go there to the 1M, it was like a really, really nice flip. So you were saying you were looking at the 10 minute as well, which is totally fine. But even on the 1 minute, this was so nice. So you had the sweep at a high, and you had the sweep at a low, and you had this flip zone here, but this flip zone also took liquidity. So this was like a really, really nice area to enter off, or even this candle itself. Wow, I really like that. I wish I didn't miss that one. So good going on you for getting into that, man. That was a lovely trade.
Yes. My idea for the stop loss was actually this flip zone because I saw it as a strong one. And I just, how to say, I covered this zone.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Sweet, man. Really, really good. I like it.
So that's from me. Anyway.
What about the long? Did you catch any long from down in that 4 hour zone, or did you see anything interesting?
I was actually observing it. What I didn't like about this long was, well, I didn't have seconds, but let me delete this one. How I was looking at it, I was actually thinking, okay, we tapped into this big demand zone here on 4 hour, and we have this wick, this rejection, and we had this one here.
Yeah.
And also what I saw that we had this demand that actually created a new low. So for me, I was actually looking, okay, this is the grab of the liquidity. I assume this is a chalk on a flips down on 1 minute, the small candles. So when it broke these highs with the wick, when it broke with this body, I was thinking, okay, two things could happen actually. So we reject from this or this one. So it's actually the same because it's, as you can see, it's body closed above either one of those two. And I wasn't too convinced that it will just run so fast, like so aggressively up. And when I was looking, I just saw that it's mitigated here, like mitigated me right in this place.
Yeah.
So if I would have not been mitigated, I would have probably closed somewhere around here, maybe. Some a bit more profit, but I mean it's 5 hours, it's good.
Yeah.
So this long trade, I mean, I could have taken it because it was a higher time frame zone, tapped 1 minute shock and all the rest of the things. But I mean, I was focused on my position here and was not paying that much attention, you know.
You were still short that time anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at that too on the 1M. I was waiting. There was that 15M zone. It was an unmitigated area. So for me, like you drawn up here, you had this low and this high. So that was the exact same that I was actually looking at. I seen this demand zone here. So to me, it was like, okay, that broke, but I was kind of interested in this area as, sorry, I can't draw straight. This area here as a demand zone, that top level. So I was thinking, you know what, if we get a reaction and it breaks it, I'll trade the reaction. So this to me was the reaction. So we failed to put in the low to break this. So I was like, okay, I'm going to trade from that area there. The price never came down. So I had the same sort of low high rather than anything that was kind of more internal, like this high. I wasn't really looking at that so much, but that missed me. And on top here, I took a loss up here. I tried to short too. So we had this high taken, and then we had this area here. I think I tried to short from this doji that swept liquidity here. Just took me all together. Made a fool out of me. But it happens, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, if I see momentum like this and the reaction from 4 hour, would assume that it might actually start making a bullish move on a higher time frame because it never made a new low. So
exactly.
Also, here I was this whole zone here. I mean, this is my important place from here to here.
Yeah.
So I was actually also observing this because that's where the chop happened. That's the high that that made a liquidity sweep to the downside. So I was expecting reaction from this place and then re-entering on a flip zone. But it never gave us that one. So unfortunate. I guess I was lucky to make some money on this today.
Yeah, no, you got a lovely short trade, bro. That was really nice. It was good thought behind it too, man. So good.
Well, I took two. I think I took a loss there. One loss. It was, I think, around here, the zone. I think how I took this loss was, let's see. Yeah, I was actually, after this broke with the body, I think I just took it like this and I was expecting these lows to go. It was 7 pips, I think, stop loss, and I wanted to short to this demand, but I mean, I took this this small loss compared to the entry I got after that. I risked twice as less and made just more from that one. So it wasn't a loss in my book because I made that back plus something, you know, so.
Yeah, well done. Sick trade.
So hopefully we can make some more this week.
Hope we have no more holidays.
Oh yeah, that's good also, more liquidity, because whenever I look at market like this, for example, where on the week there's like 1 or 2 holidays, I'm expecting that a lot of banks don't put as much liquidity in the market during the first 2 days. So for me, at least, I'm expecting that the rest 3 days will have a bit more liquidity and the market will move a bit more than, for example, the weeks where it doesn't have holidays. If you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, for sure.
No, definitely. I mean, last week was a somewhat of a busy week when you think about it. You had so many holidays just worldwide, and I was joking with Rob. I was like, I thought all the holidays were really November to like January. They had holidays I'd never heard of. I had a similar bias to you, Peachy. Since it broke this high right here, I considered that the low was protected, and I had drawn my zone, something like this. And so I think when I woke up, it was somewhere around here. I was expecting you to go into here, and then I was expecting it to now go through and blow past this high. And then another thing that also led to me, jump on the weekly real quick. When I think about it from a weekly perspective, we crossed this low. It made this lower low here for me. So therefore, I'm expecting it price to go into that region and eventually go up here and either decide, because this is a lower high we have here. So I'm not sure if it's going to either continue to make a lower high and then eventually go through and blow past this, or will it end up doing something different and just going all the way past that zone. But my overall thought process is that we're going to be seeing EU rise a little bit into this area based upon what I can see from the weekly. Now, price could come back down and do something like this too, or price could come down and go straight through. But my highest probability, what I think what would happen based upon what I can see, is that it's going to come into this lower high. So therefore, that also fueled for me the bias that if you go back to the 4 hour, that demand zone would hold on the 4 hour.
Mm-hmm.
So by the way, guys, if you see something like this, for example, we have this, of course, like very visible supply zone here for our weekly, and we have this one and this wick to the downside. Isn't this like an inducement or something like that?
Yeah, it can be used as inducement for the upper one. Anything can be used as inducement for the upper one, to be honest. But the one on top is a lot stronger because it broke swing structure, whereas the one below it like broke some sort of like internal structure. It looks like a minor sort of low. So yeah, there's a chance it could be used as inducement, or else inducement will be manufactured beforehand as well. So we could actually see, something new printed right before it comes to the zone. But it definitely could be used for that. If you're trading inducement, you'd want to be looking at the top zone at the moment for sure.
Exactly this one.
Yeah.
So that's what Brian says about the direction. So our current direction in retracement is actually for price to come back to this place.
Yeah, to the moon.
To the moon.
Because before, when I was like looking at markets, I would think, okay, we have this zone, for example, and until this gets tapped, I'm not trading, for example. But now I'm thinking, okay, what market wants to do in this case? And it firstly wants to take some orders from here if it wants to push down, because we tapped a strong zone, as we can see here. So yeah, it's this direction idea that you like gave us. It's kind of eye-opening for me, at least, when trading, because it makes me understand that I can trade anytime, not just wait a week, for example, for this to get tapped.
Exactly. And that's where chalks come in super handy as well, because chalks are just like it's a first sign of a reversal. So just like the weekly just chalked now, it's the first sign of a reversal. It doesn't mean that that's it, we're going to go to the moon, but this could reverse into that supply, as Brian mentioned, to continue downwards. But the main thing is that we're coming towards that supply. We have a sign of a reversal at the moment, so we're going higher. So putting all those things together, it's like you can build a really nice story. And like you said, you can trade it anytime you want, but just building that backstory, But you can imagine waiting for that weekly. Imagine you actually just waited for that weekly to be tapped. It would take ages, man.
I mean,
it's going to be a couple of weeks, so maybe a couple of months.
It's crazy.
Not there anytime soon.
But I mean, while we intraday trade, it's not that. At least we know the direction, but at least for now, it's not that important. We just know that it probably has a high probability to push up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I was looking at this, since this broke with the body, I was quite interested in this to get run, because as you can see, let's say we pulled this one, you can see it was a body break of this demand here. So that was my idea behind the short, because I thought we'll start making a new lows until we tap this zone, and there was my like final TP here. But yeah, it rejected pretty strongly from this, I guess, because of this one, because it broke the structure.
I had the same idea as you actually about that low going before as well. But in the end, it's actually quite strong.
Still could go.
You never know.
You never know. Price ain't effectively moved anywhere when you look at it, honestly. There's a lot of accumulation right there.
It's building some
Yeah.
orders, some liquidity.
Mm. So you could wipe this liquidity, or you could take this at the top, but we will see. And we will see after the breadth of holidays that we have.
For sure.
Which way they decide to go.
By the way, can you explain the idea about liquidity right here?
Oh, you're talking about like the accumulation, is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just the fact that it's in such a tight range.
I see.
When you really kind of map and look at the price went from here to here to here to here, and now it's doing this. And if you look at it, there are orders at the bottom, definitely orders at the top, but notice how I just drew basically a range. It didn't really go that far. As comparison, this is a strong impulse move, and then you have a range here. It wipes this liquidity down here, and then price makes a strong move upward. These are what we call trending mark. This is trending, and then this is consolidation. This is consolidation. It's not telling really too much that it's going anywhere. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Also, I have implemented this thing where I observe momentum on this indicator. I guess it's not that important for guys in here, but I'll just explain the idea. So for example, if I see a momentum in bullish orders going down, so there's not as much of bullish orders accumulating, I'm expecting in the near future to have some sort of bigger retracement than, let's say, this range. So for example, here we made a new low. You can see this is the new low, but we have a orders going down here, and this was the last low. And as you can see, orders goes down, and then we start breaking up to the above. So what I try to do is combine, for example, two things: momentum shifting to the bullish side and a strong POI zone. For example, this demand here.
Interesting. Brian's the real king of indicators, especially volume and all that, right? I don't know what the hell's going on with these little colors and stuff. Is it like some sort of divergence or something? Is it?
Yeah, it's
that's something I learned many years ago, just looking at, because really we think of everything. I mean, Wyckoff is where we get a lot of the supply and demand theory, but you also combine volume. If you ever take time to like read it, and what you know.
On my cutoff.
What you notice is that when there's a high volume, usually a strong move, but then when you start seeing moves and the volume starts decreasing, it's maybe indicative that there may be a stop hunt or about to change in direction. And then especially when you see them wipe liquidity, usually it's tied to a decrease in volume, but a strong move that really goes nowhere, and then they reverse it. It's really interesting.
So I assume that's divergence in a way, no?
Partially. So if you look at, hold on a second. Notice how you had your highest level of volume here and it drops, but notice how strong your move came in right here.
Yeah. How we went down aggressively and how it started slowing down before the last grab.
All advanced theory stuff, guys. It takes a while to get right too.
Have you had any new indicators made?
Any new ones?
Yeah.
No, but I changed the color of my inside bar to blue, bro, from red. That's about it.
All things make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't use the indicators as of yet anyway. But yeah, it's interesting, the volume and the RSI stuff. Like, I just try to focus at one thing at a time. So maybe I'll get onto it someday. It seems to work pretty well for you guys.
I mean, I really like the structure one that you made, Brian. It's very useful. I mean, you don't have to observe all these nuances. You can see it, like you open the chart and you see, okay, that's the high, that's the low. Why did it make? It makes more sense when you see all the things, and it's like it's pretty much easier to spot things out.
Yeah, the
So
market structure makes a big difference. I, the only way I like to use indicators is to try and find a way to reduce the amount of things I think about on a daily basis. You know, it should all be price action based, but if I can reduce my time and energy, then my energy and focus on it, that's how I feel like indicators should be used. It should automate what I already do. So
yeah, trading is actually very draining in terms of energy. I sit 1 hour at the charts and I already feel like tired. But yeah, I just push myself to wait, and now I just look at the market structure, what higher time frames want to do, and just wait until something gets tapped, I get some alert, and then just look at it when it's close to something happening that I might get involved with. Like I don't sit like other people at 1 minute time frame and watch how the candles print. I think it's a bit psychotic in a way to do that. But yeah,
whatever makes your life easier, that's how I look at it as being the best thing.
exactly.
Because you have enough to think about as it is.
Oh yeah.
There's so much you have to think about when it comes to trading. And if you can reduce the amount of brain cycles you have to spend as soon as you get to the chart, you're able to accomplish and tackle more and maybe not reading the things that are not there. And that's the only kind of indicators I want to use. Any ones that can help me automate some stuff I'd already look at and say, hey, just FYI, especially anything price action based, that's fair game to me.
But like, did you had any like, I guess pre-made copy of this one, or you made it yourself from scratch? Like the whole idea of these highs being printed and so on, or was there something
Everything
that?
was custom built. Nothing wasn't. It was inspired by other things, but it wasn't like this was completely the idea, completely made from scratch to follow the specific rules that I told the developer, hey, I wanted to follow this, and this.
This makes sense. And how long did it take you to make something like this?
It took many months.
I believe.
to get it dialed in and right. That's why you see the version is on 28 right now, because there's so many little. When you start developing anything, you'll start with one thing and say, okay, then you'll add more and more and more and more and more, and then until you finally get it in. I don't even look to start sharing stuff until we get to version 10 to 15, because by then we know it's right.
Yeah, it's like a product, and there's a testing phase for that. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, I would love to learn this, but I don't know. I don't have. I guess I don't want to do that, to be honest, because it takes time, and I want to learn trading as a whole, more like better. So yeah, I'll stop sharing now probably. And if there's anything you guys wanna go on.
I think with that, we'll go ahead and conclude today, guys. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Peachy, for sharing your chart. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you had questions that you weren't able to get answered, feel free to drop them in our questions chat. Don't forget, you can always take one-on-one training with Rob, Nathan, or myself. So we can definitely do one-on-one time. And don't forget that we have on Thursday our weekly office hours call, or weekly power hour call with Rob. So definitely tune in Thursday at the same time. But I will bid you all adieu, and we will catch everybody in Discord. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.